The file sat on my desk like a quiet accusation. A manila folder with a client's name I knew too well and a sticky note in my boss's handwriting. Urgent, add to packet. I had been the junior associate at Hargreaves & Cole for 6 months, the person who made coffee and found precedent. I also made mistakes. It should have gone into the civil folder. Instead, when I pulled the wrong drawer that morning, half asleep, thinking about rent and my mother's cough, I slid it into the family law stack. I noticed the crease in the paper, the way the edges caught the light. And then I did what people do when they are afraid of making trouble. I told myself I would fix it later. Later arrived in the form of a call from reception. "Court's calling," she said. "They need the custody packet for Martinez versus Alvarez. They say a document is missing." My stomach folded. Martinez was the client whose ex had been fighting for full custody for months. The missing document was a financial affidavit that, if included, would show the father's gambling debts and likely tip the judge towards supervised visitation. If the affidavit stayed out, the ledger looked cleaner, the father looked steadier. I could see the scales in my head, tipping with a single sheet of paper. I told myself again that I would fix it. I told myself my boss would notice and correct it. I told myself a lot of things that were not true. Instead, I sat at my desk and watched the clock. The office hummed with other people's emergencies, depositions, billing disputes, a partner's tantrum down the hall. Ethics felt like a headline in someone else's paper. At noon, I opened the manila folder to check the file list, to reassure myself. The affidavit was not there. My hands were steady until they weren't. I thought of the Martinez children, 7 and 5, of the way the mother's voice had cracked when she described the night she slept on the couch to keep them safe. I thought of my mother's cough and the rent notice tucked under my keyboard. I thought of the sticky note on my boss's desk that said billable hours in a neat, indifferent script. The choice was small and enormous. Confess and risk my job, or stay silent and let the court decide on incomplete facts. I had rehearsed both speeches in the mirror, each one a different kind of cowardice. I walked to the supply closet and found the family law drawer. The misplaced folder was there, innocuous and damning. The affidavit lay on top, as if it had been waiting for me to notice. My throat tightened. I could have slipped it into the packet, closed the drawer, and pretended nothing had happened. No one would have known until the judge read the papers. Instead, I did the thing that felt like stepping into cold water. I took the folder to my boss's office and knocked. He looked up. "What is it?" I held the manila folder like a confession. "This belongs in the custody packet," I said. "It was misfiled." He frowned, then glanced at the clock. "We don't have time to—" "We do the right thing," I said. The words surprised me with their steadiness. "We fix it now." He studied me for a long second, then and pushed his chair back. "Fine, do it." I ran the affidavit to reception. The clerk took it without comment and called the court. The judge's clerk said they would accept the late submission if it arrived within the hour. I watched the courier leave and felt something like breath return to my chest. That night, on the subway, I thought about the ledger of small choices that make up a life. I had lost a few hours of sleep and maybe a raise. I had kept my job and my conscience. The Martinez mother sent a brief email the next morning. "Thank you." No flourish, no promise, just 2 words that fit into my palm like a coin. At my desk, the manila folder waited for the next person to touch it. I slid it into the correct drawer and closed it gently, as if closing a door on something that could not be undone.